All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Aaron Whittier. Excited for you guys all to be on it tonight. I know it's is it Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night. I can't get my day straight. Tuesday night, you might have been invited here tonight by someone to take a look at. Maybe you heard these incredible devices like the one that Ken Cooley has on his head right now. You might have heard some people are getting a lot of relief, a lot of results with these new devices that are out, or you might have heard that somebody that invited you here has made a lot of money in the last month. So I'm looking at some people here that have made a lot of money in the last month just sharing these devices. So you might have heard there's an incredible business opportunity, or both. You might be here because you want to learn about both, right? Might be your first time being introduced to our company. It might be the fourth or fifth. I'm not sure, but wherever you fall, we're glad you're here. And I just want to start by sharing my story. I've been in this industry of direct sales for 30 years, and had some success, had some major success, and you know, I wasn't really looking, but a year ago, a good friend of mine that I've known for about 25 years, him and his wife had tremendous success in this industry, and they made millions of dollars in crypto and other things, and they're really connected around the world. But I met a guy 2 years ago in Taiwan, and my buddy Tuan said, "Hey, you remember that guy in Taiwan?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Hey, he's been bugging me for the last 5 months to take a look at this company, but I have no interest." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "But you want to jump on and just we'll just please him, whatever, just to get him off our back." So we jumped on a Zoom and we saw these devices. This company was just over 2 years old at the time, and this gentleman was earning a significant income. Let's just say that. And he wanted to break into the English speaking markets. That's why he was reaching out to my friend Tuan, because Tuan could do it. Tuan could, bring a company to America and really launch it, because that's, he's got a lot of skills and a network and everything. So we saw these devices, and I was definitely intrigued. I was intrigued because I'm 55 years old. I've done a lot of damage to my body, and with these devices, he said it can help with circulation, inflammation, all these different things. And I was like, okay, seems pretty cool. I don't know, understand it, but it looks pretty cool. And then he talked about the business side, and frankly, I've never seen a business quite like this. There's a lot of things that people are tired of in this industry of direct sales, and this company didn't have any of those things. And also, the compensation platform was just something I've never seen at all. So um, I was intrigued. I wasn't looking, but I was intrigued. And I asked this gentleman in Taiwan, I said, "Paul, what's going on in the United States?" He said, "That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to break into America. And we're trying to break into the English speaking territories like Australia and Europe and places like that. But what's going on is it takes 2 months to get the device in America." I said, "Whoa, that's I couldn't wait 2 months to get a device, and I couldn't really build a business. People had to wait 2 months to get the device." He goes, "Yeah, that's a problem. And we don't have credit card processing. It's all through crypto." So I thought to myself, there's no way I can do that. My people I know don't do crypto. Everybody in Asia does crypto, right? But I said it's not quite ready. So what happened was my buddy Twan signed up in the business just to get Paul off his back. And what Paul did, he went to the company and said, "Hey, my buddy Twan has this media company, and this gentleman can build all the English speaking videos and stuff that we need to move forward into these countries." So they agreed, and they hired Twan's media company. So Twan passed it off to his friend Jason, and Jason started learning all about the company to translate it to English. And he called Twan about a month later and said, "Twan, did you join this company?" And Twan said, "Yeah, I think I took a spot with Paul. Why?" And he goes, "Well, I'm learning all about these devices and the company and everything, and I want to bring this product to Japan. I want to bring this device. I want to get the device. I want to bring it to Japan. I know people there." And so he did that. He got the device, signed up, went to Japan, and it took off in Japan. In 3 weeks, it was unbelievable. It was very receptive. It went crazy in Japan. He went back to Hawaii where he lives, and he started letting people try this device. And people would the next day would want their family members to come back and try it. And about a week later, he parked himself in a hotel lobby, and there were people lining up to use this device for hours. It took off. It was incredible. He never seen anything like that. So 3 months later, my buddy Tuan gets a call from Paul in Taiwan and said, "Tuan, do you see what's going on in your business?" And he's like, what business are you talking about?" He said, "Olylife." He's like, "No, what's going on?" He's like, "You need to log in." So he logged into his back office website where everything he keeps track of everything, and he saw that he was making $1,000 to $2,000 per day. He didn't even know. It was all accumulating in his wallet. He had all this money in his wallet. And he went over to his wife and said, "Babe, look what's happening." And she's like, "What is it?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't want to do those businesses anymore." She's like, no, they're all the same. And he goes, well, babe, I heard it's different. Let's call Paul. So they called Paul, found out that there was no money you had to spend every month. Like most businesses require you to spend money ongoing an auto ship of products to stay qualified. And there was nothing like that. It was you buy the device, you're qualified for life. So, and there was some other things they thought, wow, this is really neat. This is how all the companies should be. And then they took one look at the comp plan, a better look at the comp plan. They realized why they were making so much money. So they wanted to do it right. They invited over, instead of using this device, because they put the device in the closet. They bought the device 3 months ago, never used it, put it in the closet, didn't think anything of it. So they pulled it out of the closet and they invited over two friends of theirs. They thought to themselves, okay, let's test this on someone else because we're getting excited about it. So we want to actually, they don't know anything about it. Let's see if it works on them. Invited this couple over. She was in a bad accident. She could barely walk in the door. She put her feet on the device. She said, what is this? And they said, I don't know. It's some PEMF device. Watch this video. And they watched the 5 minute video that his partner Jason built. And they watched another video about the devices. And 20 minutes later, they're talking and she gets up and she walks out of their house almost normal. She couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. The husband calls back an hour later and says, Twan, I don't know what that device was. My wife feels so much better. And I want her to feel that, forever. So we want to buy that device. And we want to also buy those goggles that you see on Ken Cooley's head. We want to buy those goggles too, because those goggles look really neat. So they bought these goggles and Twan and Van sat there and was shocked. They were like, in all my 25 years in the industry, they said they'd never seen anything so demonstrable, something that actually worked. So they got excited and they didn't build it publicly. They said, okay, let's do this quietly. Let's invite some people in Asia. Let's invite some people in Australia. Let's talk to some people in America, people that are willing to wait 2 months for the devices. And they started to build it quietly. They call me every month and they say, hey, we're making this much money, making this much money, making this much money. But every time I ask them, hey, is it still take 2 months in America to get the device? I said, yes. I said, any credit card processing? They're like, no. Every month it happened. In December, his wife Van invites me on her Zoom. I said, what's up? She goes, well, I just want to show you something. She shows me her back office and she shows me how much money they made. In basically 7 months, they had made over $500,000. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But it still wasn't ready. So I didn't do it. January 24th, I see them post on Facebook. They said they were built with this company privately for the last 8 months. Their team did $10 million in sales, no auto ship, no this, no that. And they got a lot of people that were like, whoa, what's this? And of course, when I saw that, I got FOMO. You guys ever had FOMO, right? Everybody's fear of missing out. Called them up. They were in China. They were in China with 100 of their leaders. The company paid for 100 of their leaders to go to China, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong to see the home offices on the company's dime. And I said, why'd you post on Facebook? And they said, well, we were going to call you. You're going to be our first phone call when we get back to the States. We just got two warehouses stocked in America with everything stocked. We got credit card processing and they're building a home office in California at the end of the year. And I said, okay, let's go. And that was it. June 24th, I got the device in about 6 days. And, the rest is history. I'll share my quick little testimonial story when we get going here. But, this company and a lot of the people on here, you see these faces on here. If you can see them, I know the recording, you can't see them. You can only see mine. But, the so many people were obviously reluctant like I was. And what's happened to them in just such a short time is just really it's unbelievable what's happening with this company and for people and this device and everything else. So let's get into the presentation here real quick. So, in America, we all know the two biggest challenges no one prepares us for is proactive wellness, strategic timing and real leverage. I'm going to talk a little bit about both of those things, all three of those things here tonight. But in America, you guys know really it's America's the worst. Let's face it. There's countries that are really bad as well, but we spend trillions yearly. Chronic illness is rising, daily prescriptions rising. 42% of Americans are adults are obese. Physical activity inactivity contributes to 1 in 10 premature deaths. I mean, you guys all know the issue in America. I don't need to educate you on how bad it is in our country. It's a crisis. It's a wellness crisis. And 70% of adults in the US take at least one prescription drug daily. The average American ingests 50,000 pills in their lifetime and still never be taught how to make their body work better. So, the system makes money when people stay sick. We all know that. You guys all get that, right? We work on the reactive model. We for symptoms, we diagnose, and then we prescribe. That's what we do in the States. Instead of using a proactive model where we support the body daily, improve resilience and optimize function, let's face it, there's the global wellness, you guys all know this, the global wellness industry is experiencing massive growth right now. And the big reason is because of something we call biohacking. Biohacking basically includes PEMF, red light therapy, and recovery tech. And there's a major global shift right now in how people approach health. And people want drug-free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not treatment. Tech and health. Let's think about AI, right? Tech and health emerging. uh, AI guided wellness tools, at home devices replacing clinical visits. People want to do, therapy at home, right? Why not if they can? And PEMF, you're going to hear that a lot tonight, is now gaining momentum. And what's driving PEMF growth the most is aging population, increased chronic conditions, right? And demand for home use therapy devices. So awareness is growing majorly, and that's where our company Olylife lives, right in those spaces there. So just the company profile here, the company is just over 3 years old. They did $1 billion in sales their second year in sales, in business. Second year they did $1 billion. They're doing over 80 million per month in Asia right now. So 3 years of research. You get laboratories in Sweden and Germany. They parts in Sweden and Germany, made with advanced chips from rare metals only found in Japan, and then they're built in Asia. There's thousands of global patents, and you look at there's a bunch of different offices in Asia and soon to be America, Canada, Korea, Japan. They're really expanding right now. So All is now evolving into an AI powered wellness tech company. Like I said, 500 millionaires created in just 3 years in Asia, shipping over to 180 countries now, not 152 countries. And like I said, 80 million plus million per month just in Asia. So we're just getting started here in the States. And, you get all the patents, 167 global patents on these devices, all the proofs here, what this does, scientific backing and global research, PMF and terahertz, what it does, activates and revitalizes cells, promoting meridian flow, detoxification, pain, inflammation, and fatigue. The list goes on and on what these devices do. I mean, what I encourage you all to do if you're a guest tonight, after this is over, go to whatever AI you might use, or you can just Google it if you want, but a lot of times AI is faster. You can go to ChatGPT or some kind of AI and just ask that AI, what are the benefits of PEMF? Or if you have an ailment, say whatever your ailment is and PEMF, and it'll tell you if it can help you. And everything's positive. That's what's crazy about this, like this, where it's so positive. So, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, that's what it stands for. It was originally developed by NASA in the 70s. Okay, they used to give this PEMF therapy to astronauts when they came back from space, because when they got back to gravity, their muscles couldn't hack it. So they recovered. You can see they're in these chairs here. They could barely walk when they get back from space. So they use these devices, back in the 70s. And if you look at the evolution of PEMF technology, it was actually introduced, the EMF, electromagnetic fields, was introduced through electricity, radio, and modern tech in the early 20th century. And awareness grew in the mid to late 20th century. 60s and 70s, that's when the discovery of PEMF, scientists basically discovered it, and they were doing pulsed electromagnetic fields, a way of, support cellular health and recovery. And then it gained popularity in the 2000s, but you really didn't have home devices then. You had to go, you had to know somebody, right? Or you had to be Shaquille O'Neal, where his trainer knew that it could help him, recover from his injuries. So a lot of the people that had money had access to these things. And you might go to a wellness spa and you might get some PEMF therapy. In the 2020s now, here we are. You get Olylife Innovation, where this advanced PEMF with terahertz, both of them combined, cutting edge, user friendly devices designed to enhance everyday wellness in your home, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's crazy. And that's why this company is exploding right now. It's because of science. Again, look up terahertz, what it does. It activates cellular energy, improves blood flow. I'm going to show you a video here real quick that's going to blow your mind if you haven't seen it yet. 3 facts, you look at the facts there. This technology is just helping so many people. And we got these state of the art, devices here. We got the P90, we got the Galaxy G1. That's the thing that Ken just had on his head there. You got the high concentration Obama Air. for pollution and everything in your home. Terra P90 Plus, which most people are getting with these different wands, and this Vitality wand. You can't use these devices. All you can use is a Vitality wand if you have a pacemaker. You just can't put your feet on these unless you have unless you have the Vitality wand. You can use that if you have a pacemaker. There's also some cutting edge additions here. The Shaker Massager is probably the most popular, hottest device right now. It works on visceral fat. It's unbelievable. And here's the P90. This device was their flagship product. Now people are getting the P90 Plus because it does come with some attachments, but you can get more information on what this does. But I will tell you, it's incredible if you have any kind of ailments or, if you're over the age of, I don't know, 20. Most people have ailments. Most people have circulation issues, inflammation issues, injuries, old injuries, arthritis, whatever it might be. We can't make medical claims. You can look it up yourself and you can try the device. I mean, listen, I just talked to a couple that I haven't talked to them since it got started about 2 months ago. And their story, I almost cried when I heard their story tonight. You're going to hear their story soon. These devices just helping people out. And here's the P90 Plus at the bottom. You see those two wands at the bottom. But what I want to do right now, I want to show you this video. I want you to take a look at this video here. And this is a live blood analysis from somebody that they took her blood, and that's her blood all kind of clumped up, moving slowly. And she does a PMF session here, a 20-minute PMF session. Watch what happens to her blood.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Holy smoke. Look how separate they are. Wow.
Now, do you think if your blood was moving like that, you think you'd feel better? I mean, 100%, right? I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. I'll tell you my story real quick. I'm 55 years old. Like I said, I've been put my body through a lot over the years. I used to be an entertainer. I used to do backflips off speakers onto concrete, did a lot of damage to my hips, my knees, and everything else. And I had a hip replacement at 53 years old. My right one needs to be replaced. I got a broken ankle over the years. And also have bad circulation because every night for the last 5 years, I lay in bed and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. My legs throb and they feel heavy. I have a big varicose vein in my left leg. I had one of them needled, one's still there, and just always been in pain. Get up in the middle of the night, take some Tylenol, and go to back to bed. And 3 weeks after using this P90 Plus, the pain is absolutely gone. My legs don't feel heavy anymore. My legs feel incredible. My right hip doesn't bother me anymore, crazy enough. I have an injury in my elbow that's getting better. I mean, the device is just incredible. It's changed the way I sleep. I'm sleeping like a baby now. I don't know why people say sleep like a baby because babies don't sleep that well, it seems like, but I'm sleeping really, really well. I don't wake up in the middle of the night. It's changed my life. And I'm just one of so many stories just in the last 2 months of people that I've introduced. So you look at this Galaxy G1 Smart Eye Massager. There's a real problem with people's eyes nowadays. We're constantly looking at blue light, with screens and phones and everything else. And this relieve eye strain and promote relaxation. I use the second night I use this, I fell asleep about 2 hours before I normally fall asleep. If you haven't used this, definitely got to try it. The shaking massager, we got this as well. My 31-year-old daughter will not let me use this. She won't let it out of her room. She loves it. I still haven't tried it, believe it or not. She won't let me use it. I'm going to steal it one night. I'm going to go in her room when she's sleeping and I'm going to grab it so I can try it. So those are the devices. That's the technology. Like I said, I encourage you to go back and, do some digging. I encourage you. Go ask ChatGPT or whatever AI you use and ask about PEMF therapy and terahertz and ask about if you have any ailments, see if those ailments PEMF could help you. So, that's the product and device part of our presentation here. So, find the device that fits your need and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you. I will guarantee you that you will feel better. There's no way around it. You will feel better. I can say that. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to cure you, but you're gonna feel better. Okay. So I'm gonna switch gears now. If you weren't here to look at the business, if you had no interest in any business, but you want the devices, this is your time. You can just exit. You don't have to stay on any longer. But those of you that want to stay on here, and learn about, why this business, why, the company did $1 billion in sales the second year in Asia, and why they're doing 80 million plus a month in Asia, and why the US, it's brand new in the US, but it's gaining a lot of momentum in not just the US, Europe, Australia, South America, Mexico. This thing is absolutely exploding. And the reason why is it's demonstratable, like I talked to you about before. Are people going to feel it right away? They're going to feel it. Are they going to feel a difference right away? Possibly. Most people find a difference. They find they sleep better the first night using it, but not everybody feels that way. But you can feel it work. And it's not a huge lifestyle change. You're not buying these devices or products every month. It's a one-time purchase, which is nice. But it's all about timing. If you're looking at a business, listen, I've been in this industry 30 years, marketed a lot of different things over the years, has success. I know a lot of you have as well. But the problem is, I've only had 2 home runs, and that's because I got in early. Okay. Now, does it make a difference to get in early? Sure, it does. I want you to think to yourself, the person that invited you here, anyone else in your network that has anyone else told you about this yet? That's what I want you to think about. Because if no one has asked you, have you seen these devices yet? That means you're probably the first one in your entire network that knows about it, which normally that spells opportunity for you, right? And then frankly, then their people's networks probably don't know about it either because that's how new it is. So everything's about timing when it's business. And you look at it goes through 3 phases: a startup phase, the very beginning, which most companies fail. This company didn't fail. This company exploded the first 3 years. So if you look at that red dot there, we're in the growth phase right now, really in the very, very beginning of the growth phase. And all these different companies go through this kind of growth phase, and then they eventually level out and they go through stability. That's when everybody's going to have a device in their home. That day's coming. This is technology. This is where it's going. Everybody's going to have a device, kind of like cell phones, right? When cell phones first came out, people made a lot of money in the cell phone boom. Now everybody's got cell phones. Can you make money selling cell phones? Sure. But are you going to be a gazillionaire? No, right? Something like this, you get in early and you spread this around your network. You be the first in your network. You can do very, very well if you're looking for a business. So the key to business is seizing the right moment. So basically, how do you get started with a company? You just get a device. Okay, that's it. You just get a device. You choose whatever device you want. The entry is $1,000 device, and it can be used by the whole family. You're not buying devices every month. It's one time. It's global ready. There's no auto ship. Not buying auto products every month. You don't have to spend another dime once you get this device, and you're in business, which is incredible. There's daily payout, high retention. When you get these devices, it's kind of like Apple. Whoever has Apple, right? When you get an Apple phone, do you ever deviate from that? Probably not. You get another Apple phone, you get an iPad, you get a Mac, you just love the technology. That's kind of what this company's all about. It's a tech company. So you can also get more products if you want. Like I told you about that eye goggles that Ken was wearing there. Those are $500. P90 Plus is $1,500. A lot of people are starting with that with $2,000. You don't have to, but you get a higher daily earning potential if you want to do that. There's different levels you can come in, but the main thing is there's no joining fee. Okay, there's no extra joining fee. People are like, come on, there's got to be something extra. No, you get a device and you're in business, whether you want to be or not. You don't have to do it, but you're in business whether you get a device or not. Okay, no subscription. You're active forever, one-time purchase. You can build international teams. There's passive payout as well, and we build what we call a binary compensation plan here. So this is the fastest compensation plan to really build and to really get help with. And I'm going to show you how you can get help, okay, with these plans as well. So you build 2 teams, a left and a right, and the first sale you get goes immediately on your left. That's how the company has it, and then the next person goes on your right. So I'm going to show you something I've never seen in the industry before, okay? This is, and you haven't either because it hasn't existed, okay? And tell me, send me a message if you've seen this before because I guarantee you haven't. So when you come on board, you get placed below, you get the next spot in the tree. And whoever you're directly placed below, you're going to earn 5% of what they earn, up to 3 times of what you buy in for. So if you get $1,000 device, you can earn up to $3,000 off of what the person's income directly above you. So if somebody makes $60,000 and you came in for 1,000, you can make $3,000. So, which is incredible. Somebody makes 10,000, right? You can make $500. And then the level below that makes 5% of that as well. So it keeps going down. So I've never seen anything like this. There are people that got started and just wanted a device. That's all they wanted is a device for their home therapy. And they're making money. They're making all their money back and then some because they're placed below somebody that's actually out there actively sharing it with people. Pretty incredible. So I've never seen that before. This is a direct performance bonus. So everybody that you go out and you share this device with, if someone buys $1,000 device, you're going to get 10% of the volume. The volume on that device is 750 PV. So you make 10% of that. You make a $75 performance bonus when someone signs up. If someone gets $2,000 worth of devices, you're going to earn 10% of 1500, which is 150, and so on. Very simple here. But I'm going to show you something that, again, you probably never seen because I've never in 30 years seen anything quite like this. And this is why, when Tuan kept calling me saying, "Hey, we're making 60,000 a month, making 70,000 a month, making 80,000 a month," I'm like, "How is that possible? That sounds like it sounds illegal," right? I was like, "It doesn't sound as possible." But then I thought about it. And I remember seeing this on the original Zoom back in March. I remember seeing this bonus, and when I saw this, Tuan and I were like, "Wow, this is incredible." So then it made sense to me why they were making so much money. So with the binary compensation plan, when you bring in, let's say you bring in A1 on the left and you bring in B1 on the right. Well, when you bring them in, you're going to get what we call a tier bonus. The first one on each level, okay, that matches, you're going to get a $375 bonus if they all both come in for $1,000. And then let's say A1 brings in A2 and B1 brings in B2. Even though you didn't bring them in, you still make $375. For every time you go down a level through infinity, okay, there's no cap on that. Okay, you're going to make a $375 bonus. Now, if they all come in, if both of those people, A1 and B1 come in for $2,000, which a lot of people are, then you're going to make a $750 tier bonus. Let me think about that. That's insane. You know how many people I'd have to, get on a $100 product or a $50 product monthly to make $750? I mean, it's unheard of. It's unbelievable. And if somebody, there are like spas and chiropractors and people that do trade shows that want a lot of different products and they buy $6,000 worth of products, and both people buy $6,000 worth of products, you make 2250. Your tier bonus is 2250. So let me show you how the tier bonus works. So a little visual here to make you really understand the power of this. So Tuan and Van are my sponsors, right? They're going to be the first millionaires in the country in America, and they're real close by the way already in just a year. And they brought me on board, so they sponsored me. And let's say the one below me is you. Okay, so you sign up, you get the next spot in the tree, and then while you're learning how to log in, like you're just learning how to log into your website, which is simple, right? You just got started. Well, Tuan and Van go out there and they bring someone on board and they go directly below you on your left. Okay. And you're like, whoa, that was fast. And then I'm out there actively just talking to people. Maybe I post something on Facebook and people are like, I want the device. Then I put someone below the person that Tuan and Van put below you. And then you get excited and you're like, okay, how do I do this? And I say, just send a picture of the device to people and say, have you seen this device yet? And you go, that's it? I go, yeah, just send it and see if they saw it. 99.9% of people say, no, I haven't seen it. What is it? And you say, it's a PEMF device. Hey, go to ChatGPT and look up what are the benefits of PEMF. And they go, okay. And they look at that and they come back to you and they go, whoa, that's incredible. Like this, I've never heard of this. This is incredible. And then you say, hey, watch this video. And they watch the video and they go, okay, I want this device. So you sign them up. Now, this example is based on everybody getting $2,000 worth of devices, the P90 Plus and the eye goggles. So let's say everybody gets $2,000 worth of devices. Okay. So the first person you bring in goes on the third spot down your left side. That's number one. When you bring in that person, remember you get 10% of the volume, which is $150. And then what happens is you tell another person, and that next person goes to the top spot on your right side. Well, you get another $150 bonus, and you also get your first tier bonus. And that tier bonus would be $750. Pretty incredible. And then what happens is your people, people that Tuan and I brought on board, they bring in their first person that goes automatically on the left. There's two more people below you, and there's another person below you, another person below you, and then you bring in your third person. You get another $150 bonus, but you also get your second tier bonus, and you make $750. And then you bring in your third person. I'm sorry, your fourth person, and you get another tier bonus, another performance bonus. And then on tier four, look what happens. Your second person brings in their first person that goes on the left, and you didn't bring either one of those people in, but you still made a $750 tier bonus. Incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. So then you bring in, then your third person brings in their first person, you get another tier bonus. And you didn't bring either one of those people in. And then you bring in your fifth person, you get another performance bonus, another tier bonus, and your sixth person, you get another performance bonus and tier bonus. So you look at here, you get 7 levels, you brought in 6 people. With those 6 people all getting $2,000 worth of devices, you made $900 in performance bonuses and $5,250 in tier bonus, equaling over $6,000. You brought in 6 people. 6 people. Because the people above you are helping you and putting people in, those actually count for you as well. And what else happens is you actually hit the first leadership rank because the volume, 1,500 PV from those $2,000 worth of devices, times 7 people equals 10,500 on the left side, 10,500 on the right side. You actually hit our first leadership rank of what we call M1. And then you get a share in the global pool. Now, this company, like I told you, is doing over $1 billion a year. Do you think it's slowing down? Not at all. I mean, it's gaining. We're not at momentum yet, but when we hit momentum, this company might be a $3-4 billion company annually. I mean, I could see that easily happening. And you're going to get a share of that. Once a year, you're going to get a residual. All you need to do is stay active. You don't need to spend any more money, right? But you need to sponsor one person a year. That's it to keep that residual. Okay. And here's another, just some examples of when you hit higher leadership ranks. And by the way, the neat thing about the volume, where other companies I've been in, the beginning of the month, the volume resets and goes to zero. This volume never resets. It keeps accumulating on top of each other. So once you hit 10,000 PV, it doesn't go away. Then you keep accumulating until you get 100,000 PV, and then you hit M2 and you get more shares in the compensation plan. So just to let you know, Tuan and Van, my sponsors, already hit M5, M5 in the company. I mean, absolutely incredible. In just under a year, they did that. It's just really incredible. So you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You guys all understand that. Listen, like I said, in closing, this is the simplest thing I've ever done. And I think everybody on here that's doing this could attest. If you can't send a video to people and say, have you seen this? Then you can't do this. Okay. You can't do it. If you can't send a video, you can't do this. If you can send a video to people, have you seen this device? Then you can do this. Okay. And you could say, hey, check out ChatGPT, check this out. This technology is the right time for the age we're in right now, with all the baby boomers getting older. Everybody has these ailments. People don't want to go to the doctors anymore. They'd rather do things at home. This is the right time for this company. We have something absolutely magical right now going on. So get back to the person that invited you on here and get your questions answered. And I want to be the first one to welcome you here to our company, Olylife, and our team, Team Impact.